Hi, Yusra. I thought it would be easier to explain this through a screencast than trying to type everything out. I hope that's okay. Um, just to reiterate what we talked about earlier, um, well, actually, I have that email that I haven't sent yet. Um, Basically, you're going to get to know WordPress as a publishing platform, get to know how it works from the site owner's perspective, so that sort of um, dashboard based editing environment. Get to know what's actually happening on the server, where all the files live, where they are, how they're organized, and where the ones that you don't want to touch and the ones that you can actually edit. And then how do you actually go about changing the style of the theme? Not becoming terribly prolific at it, but just getting a feel of how do you take a website that somebody else has created. Maybe there's already a lot of code involved, and then how do you start making changes upon that to start customizing it? So you've got the playlists. Um, to do. And then now I want to show you the site, the WordPress site I set up for you right here. I just installed it. Basically, I installed it. I mean, you can do it manually. There's a way to like download WordPress and then upload it to the server, but then it's kind of step by step, a little tedious. But most web hosting companies will actually do it for you automatically. You just go to their their website and you say please install down WordPress, and so that's what I did. I just had them install it. So there's kind of two parts here. Um, on the front end of things, right here, um, I'll show you how to log into it through the interface, like the dashboard, which would be that whole how does someone who's not a designer or developer interact with it and add content. Um, and then I'll show you how to log in on the back end, using FTP and FileZilla, so you can actually see where all these files are and just take a look at the structure, because WordPress is nothing but it's just a bunch of HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript files that just all come together and do a lot of stuff. But there's nothing. It's not like a hardcore standalone application. It's just web stuff. Okay, so to start, how do you log in from your, um, sorry, excuse me, from here? Okay, so anytime you want to log in from here, this is your URL, usra.fsrndesign.org, and that'll let you. That's what you can tell. You can just send it to anyone to have them. They want to see it. But how do you actually log in so that you can start editing? Well, there's a login thing here on the first main page. This is the default. Um, but so you could click there, but when you start editing these things are called widgets, and they're these sort of optional modules that you can put on a page, and a lot of times you get rid of them. So the login meta widgety thing might not be there. Um, you might have deleted. Anyway, the easiest way to do it is just go up here and just go /wp admin. Um, most all WordPress sites, that's how you log in. Just the domain /wp admin, and then it'll take you here. I guess it's already remembered me. I'm the username and login I've included in the email. They're slightly different between the desktop login and the FTP login. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. Okay, and this is the dashboard, and the video explains sort of how all this works. So going up here, you can see you can just toggle back and forth between your dashboard here, and then you click that, and you can go and see the other site. Very nice. Okay, and then back and forth to see, like, edit something and then go back and check it out. The video will show you how, what pages and posts are all about, and how to add photos, and there's also a ton of other kind of tutorials for that. So this is where you will be spending time when you're adding the content. Um, um, so that the experience of somebody who is actually the site owner and is using the design of somebody else. So this is where you'll start adding content, and maybe you can even rearrange things in here. There's a lot you can do within this without ever having to touch any code. And so it's really, it's good to get very familiar with just doing it that way. So that's how you get here. Let me show you this. So WordPress has a lot of themes. I keep saying templates, but WordPress calls them themes. So maybe I should start calling them themes. This is the one in the playlist that you're watching. The guy who has some exercise files, and he's giving an example of how to customizing it using a specific theme that he created. I went ahead and installed that theme here. The reason behind using something like this is because it's very, very basic. So it's a bit more straightforward on how to customize it, like change colors and things like that. But we can go. I want to show you. If you go back here, when if you want to experiment with other themes, if you go to Appearance, Themes, here's Popper, the one that I installed on here, and here are some other default ones that they always come with. So this is a basic one. This one here I would not use because the 2019 one, because it's switched in there. I looked at it in the files, and they're starting to use a different form of CSS. I think it'll just be confusing. Maybe that's the direction WordPress is going, but we don't need to do that right now. So this would be a good one to experiment with if you wanted. This might be a good one if you want to look for other themes. You can go here. Let's say you can filter by feature. Let's say blog. See what these are all free. You don't have to find themes here. You can find them in other places and download a zip file. Let's see. For example, if you wanted to install a theme, we'd look for one. Let's see, what would be a nice one for a baby? It's kind of cute. Let's see, something simpler. Okay, here it is. Here's one. See, we can preview it. Sometimes the preview doesn't give you a great sense because there isn't actually any content in there. But okay, let's say you find one that you're interested in using. You would hit install. Okay, and then it says activate. So just because you've installed it doesn't mean you've activated it as your theme. Watch, if I go back here, I've just installed it. If I visit the site, it still has the old theme. So now I have to go back. Appearance, themes. Here are all the themes, and this is the active one. So you have to do the next step of activating that theme. And then now it looks like that one's active, and then you could go in here and there's that one. What I would say is when you get to the point where you're going to customize them, I would say start with the simpler one. Customize, when it says customize here, that's not the same thing as what I'm talking about with actually going into the style sheet and customizing. Some themes actually built in, like here's a little color picker, you can change the colors, but they give you limited powers for that, but they call it customize. So let's go back and go to the themes again. So I would say start with this one, and then if you want to experiment with other themes, you'll hear him say in the playlist that some are easier to customize than others. You'll be making what's called a child theme, but maybe start with this one because it's very simple. And then if you want to explore, the reason you would explore other ones is because you might like the layout better. Because for this project I'm having you do, I don't know if there's probably not time to get into actually changing the layout of it. We're just going to play with changing certain styles like colors and fonts, basically, and maybe even adding a few things to it. If you want to go on further and start making actual layout templates, you are absolutely welcome to. But for now, if you wanted to try to find something where you really liked the layout and functionality, but you wanted to customize it for, like, maybe for a site for your little boy, that might be a way to go. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and activate this one again. Okay, so that's what you're going to see when you open yours up. You're going to see this, and then you can follow along with his playlist. And then at the end of the playlist, there's a challenge that's basically what you're going to be doing. Is that challenge right there? Is to take a simple theme like this and change colors and font colors and things like that. Okay. Okay, so that's how logging in on the front end goes. And after you've done that, after you've added posts and played with a page and a post or two and seen what you can do, what you can play around in there, maybe play with plugins. There's a ton of plugins. You can hook up your Instagram in there. It's just anything, all sorts of Google Forms. And okay, so that's the front end. Now for the back end part, you have a specific FTP login. Actually, let me close this and open a new one. I created a brand new one for you. Oops, that's not it. Filezilla. So you have your regular user one. I created a separate one. I kind of had to. And the login information for that is in the email as well. It's slightly different because you have to log in through FTP. It looks like I already did it here. So let me show you what you're going to see when you get in there. Okay, so here's what you're going to see when you log in on the back end. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. This is basically all of the WordPress stuff. There's going to be a whole bunch of these PHP files, admin included. What you're going to focus on is, and actually you can see this at a tree structure up here, the content folder, and inside the content folder there's a folder called themes, and since we're just focusing on the styling right now, we're just focusing on the themes. And inside of themes, all you can see it down here. Here's that one I just installed. Here's the popper, the minimal one, and those other ones. So they all have a folder in there. So when you get into changing styles, follow along with that playlist. This is where you'll be going. So if we open popper, you can see. Let's see, where would you go? Oh, yeah. Hey. Oh, yeah, there's a style.css. Not that you're going to be editing the style.css, you're going to be making a child theme. But I just wanted to show you that under the hood, again, it's not like it's just all HTML and CSS and JavaScript. That's all WordPress is. It's just a whole bunch of folders of stuff like this. That's all it is. And so, so the point of doing it on the back end is to get comfortable with the fact that there's just a whole bunch of files that all get put together to create a page. You don't need to understand all of them, but just, get familiar with navigating around in it a little bit. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you? I highly recommend that for this, you're really going to want to use a Code Anywhere or a Code Tasty account. I don't know if you've used those yet, but they're the ones that look something like this. You have to create an account, and then you use the same FTP login that you did with FileZilla, except the difference is mine's gonna hook up automatically. So I'm not really gonna be able to show you. But once you get started, if you need help, just let me know. But then one of the first things when you set up the account is to make an FTP connection. Okay, Toad Tasty's been acting funny lately. Code Tasty is a service that basically lets you edit your files on the server right there in the browser and save them right there. And there's a reason you're going to need to do it this way is because a lot of WordPress stuff won't work off your desktop, so it doesn't make sense to download it. Okay, that's not working. Let's go to Code Anywhere. Code Tasty's been acting funny. Okay, so it's going to look something like this, and then when you get in there, you're going to see there's your user folder, and you'll see all the same folders that we were just looking at on FileZilla. So you go into content and themes, etc. Okay, so that's just an overview of how do you get here, how do you get there, and you're just gonna have to get comfortable. That's the whole point. You might stumble. There's gonna be a lot of stumbling around, but hopefully in the end you'll get comfortable using all of these tools. I hope that was helpful. Any of this, please text me with any questions at any time. And I hope you have fun with this. It's a really good skill. I don't think this isn't just busy work for you and the class. I think this is going to really be a professional tool for you. Okay. All right. Talk to you later.